2,000 scientists walk out. Trump pulls the space plug. Endgame for NASA. NASA, the world's most powerful space agency. If NASA says something, the world listens. No matter how unbelievable it is, people trust NASA. That's the kind of global credibility NASA holds. But now this very agency is staring at a possible shutdown, possible collapse. President Donald Trump has slashed NASA's budget by 25%. In response, nearly 2,000 scientists have resigned at once. Reports say these experts are being forced out as part of cost cutting. Many of them were working on high priority projects like Artemis and the Mars missions. So, is this the beginning of the end for NASA? Will Trump's decisions destroy America's dominance in space sector? Will humanity's dream of landing again on the moon and for the first time on Mars be pushed further away? If NASA weakens, who benefits? Will China take over, or is this a chance for India's ISRO or ISRO? Let's find out what's happening inside the world's most iconic space agency. Trump's cutbacks. NASA scientists walk out. Yes, American President Donald Trump, along with his aggressive tax and tariff politics globally, is now shaking things up at home as well. He has started a space war within. He has proposed a 25% cut in NASA's budget. This move could eliminate nearly 5,000 jobs at NASA. Even worse, Trump hasn't appointed a full-time NASA chief. Instead, the job was handed to a temporary official from the transport department, someone who handled the buses and trains. Maybe Trump is thinking traveling on the roads and in space both are same. This has infuriated NASA scientists. Many are resigning in protest. According to Politico, in the first wave alone, 2,415 staff are leaving. Some have chosen to resign voluntarily. Others are being nudged out using early retirement, buyout offers, or voluntary exit programs. Layoffs are underway across NASA's major facilities. 311 from Kennedy Space Center, 366 from Johnson Space Center, 607 from Goddard Space Flight Center, 307 from NASA headquarters. Altogether, hundreds are being removed from at least 10 key units. The concern? A major drop in NASA's workforce. NASA employs around 18,000 people. If 5,000 leave, that's nearly 28% of its team gone. This would reduce NASA's size to its lowest since 1960s, to its pre-Cold War era. Experts believe Trump is directly weakening NASA's global strength. Setback for Artemis and Mars missions. According to Politico, most of those resigning are senior scientists, GS-13 and GS-15 level officers. They have 20 to 30 years of experience in space research. Among them, over 1,800 were working in human space flight, NASA's core mission. Losing this talent pool could badly hurt its future programs. One of the biggest casualties? The Artemis mission. After 50 years, the United States was planning to return humans to the moon. The plan was to later use the moon as a launch pad to reach Mars. Eventually, for this purpose, NASA had scheduled the moon landing for 2027. But with funding cuts, the deadline looks nearly impossible. Essential components like the SLS rocket and Orion spacecraft now face funding shortages. SLS rocket, or the Space Launch System, was supposed to be the most powerful rocket ever built. It was intended to carry both astronauts and huge equipment load beyond Earth's orbit in a single mission. And it is central to Artemis program. On the other hand, Orion is a spacecraft that is to be sitting on top of SLS rocket. Now these two crucial pieces of equipment are moving further away from being ready. And with thousands of experienced scientists leaving, experts warn that Artemis may be delayed by another decade. Trump plans to reduce NASA's $24 billion budget down to $18 billion. He is also halving funds for science projects. Because of this, several deep space missions may be cancelled, including Juno, the Jupiter mission, the Da Vinci Venus mission, New Horizons, the Pluto mission. Even running missions like Perseverance and Mars Odyssey might be halted. If this continues, NASA could go from being a space giant to just another startup space agency. Former NASA Director John Grunsfeld has publicly warned the same. America's space supremacy under threat. The space race began during the Cold War when the USSR launched Sputnik. Since then, America has led the space sector from the Apollo era to today. Whether it was the Soviet Union or China, no one could take away the US's space dominance. What is the key reason? Massive government funding. During the Apollo program, President Kennedy dedicated 4% of the national budget to NASA. Just to NASA. I'm not talking about entire R&D spending. Just to NASA, total 4% of entire national budget. That is $25 billion back then, or a blistering $250 billion in today's value. That's how America landed on the moon and became a space superpower. But now Trump wants to give NASA just $18 billion. That's it. That is less than what Kennedy gave back then. Trump's these acts will undoubtedly weaken America's space presence. And China is waiting in the corner for this exact moment. It has already caught up with America in global trade and finance. In space too, China is not far behind. Just like NASA, it has an active moon mission. It plans to land on the moon by 2030. It has sent orbiters, landers and rovers to the Mars. And the most importantly, China has its own space station being built. The International Space Station ISS is retiring by 2030 in next 5 years. So NASA hopes private companies will build another replacement space station by then. But if NASA itself is in trouble, who will guide those private companies? In that case, even American scientists may have to rely on China's space station for experiments. That will be a huge blow to the NASA. NASA could lose its leadership entirely. That is why last week 7 former NASA directors wrote to the US Congress. They said, if NASA's budget is cut, we will be handing space leadership to China. They want, but still Trump seems unmoved. Big opportunity for ISRO. NASA's decline could open new doors for ISRO. Nearly 20 to 30% of NASA scientists are of Indian origin. If they don't get the right support in the US, some may return to India, or ISRO can try to get some of the talent pool which is exiting NASA into the ISRO. They could help India grow faster in the space sector. India has big dreams too, to build a space station by 2035 and to land on the moon by 2040. We want to do that. If America pulls back, India could gain more global attention and investments. But there is a catch. Right now, India's plans are only at the announcement stage. Preparations have just started. Unlike China, we aren't spending billions on space yet. We are just good at doing great things with low budget. Also, ISRO still relies on NASA for many things. For example, Indian astronauts are currently training in America for Gaganyaan. Our Shubhamshu Shukla has also reached space station using an American spacecraft. It happened because of India's partnership with NASA. In missions like NISAR, we are working directly with NASA. So a weak NASA means both opportunity and risk for us. And it is not just India, even Europe and Japan are worried. They depend heavily on American support for space. That is why in the recent Glex space program, agencies like ESA, European Space Agency, and JAXA of Japan, and ISRO of India, and Canada and UAE discussed forming a new space alliance. And honestly, that might be a smart move. But can NASA really be replaced? Friends, no matter what anyone says, NASA's experience and knowledge can't be matched overnight. If NASA weakens, the entire human space journey takes a hit. Take Artemis for example. We expected humans to land on the moon again in next 3 to 4 years. If that gets cancelled, we will have to wait until China goes. That means another decade-long delay. And NASA also shares its knowledge with its friendly countries. It was also working with Russia, its competitor in space sector, that helped us, humankind, move faster in space. But China, we don't know what Chinese Communist Party is going to do with this knowledge if they even succeed. So, if NASA truly crumbles, it is not just America's problem, it's a setback for the entire space dream of humanity. Now friends, what do you think on this? Please let us know your opinion on the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and definitely please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much. Let's meet again. Namaste.